Admiral Hyer of the galactic hegemony watched the holographic display, his six eyes widening in disbelief. The human fleet, if you could even call that disorganized collection of retrofitted mining vessels and cobbled-together warships a fleet, was advancing directly toward his perfectly arranged armada. Impossible, he chittered to his second-in-command. Their tactical computers must be malfunctioning. No species would willingly engage our forces with such inferior technology. His subordinate's antenna twitched nervously. The humans don't use tactical computers, Admiral. They're improvising. Improvising. Kaxar's exoskeleton rattled in what passed for laughter among the Vexor species. War is an art. It's mathematics. The mathematics said humans should have surrendered after their first 3 colonies fell. The hegemony had conquered 17 species across 3 galactic arms. All had recognized the futility of resistance when faced with overwhelming technological superiority. But the humans hadn't gotten the message. Captain Maya Chen didn't need a supercomputer to tell her the odds were terrible. But terrible odds were humanity's specialty. All ships, execute Operation Hornet's Nest, she ordered, her voice steady despite the crushing pressure in her chest. Remember Earth. The ractic human fleet suddenly split into dozens of seemingly random vectors. The hegemony's perfect formation adjusted automatically, their ships calculating optimal firing solutions. That was the problem with the hegemony. They had been relying on algorithms for millennia. They had forgotten what it meant to think like predators. Humans hadn't. Admiral Hayer's confidence wavered as the human vessels executed maneuvers that defied tactical logic. Instead of forming defensive clusters, they were scattering like prey animals. But something wasn't right. Prey ran away from predators, not toward them. Their movements make no sense, he muttered. Run a full-spectrum analysis. Before his crew could comply, proximity alarms shrieked across the command deck. The Admiral's compound eyes registered multiple small objects accelerating toward his flagship at velocities that should have been impossible for such diminutive craft. Boarding pods? He asked incredulously. They're attempting to board us. Maya smiled grimly as the marine drop pods streaked toward the hegemony flagship. Inside each cramped metal coffin was a human soldier. Descendants of apes who had once hunted by chasing prey to exhaustion under the African sun, carrying the DNA of warriors who had fought with sticks and stones before inventing nuclear weapons. Humanity's greatest weapon had never been technology. It was adaptability, ferocity, the willingness to ignore overwhelming odds, and most importantly, the understanding that true predators didn't just kill from a distance. They got close. They used teeth and claws. They looked their prey in the eyes. The first marine pod breached the hull of the flagship with a thunderous impact. Staff Sergeant Jackson, Kelly kicked open the hatch and emerged firing, his squad following in perfect coordination, honed through thousands of years of tribal warfare, refined through centuries of bloody conflicts on Earth. The hegemony soldiers responded with textbook defensive formations, the same formations they used for 12 centuries. Formations designed by AI to counter conventional attacks. But there was nothing conventional about humans. Kelly's squad moved like water around the defensive positions, exploiting gaps the hegemony's tactical computers hadn't accounted for, because no rational species would attempt them. Humans leaped over barricades, slid under fire lines, used their fallen comrades' bodies as cover, fighting with a savage desperation that no algorithm could predict. On the bridge, Admiral Khazar watched in horror as human soldiers tore through his ship's defenses. His crew was falling into disarray, their training failing in the face of an enemy that didn't follow the rules of civilized warfare. They're not stopping, his second-in-command whispered. We've killed hundreds, and they keep coming. The door to the bridge exploded inward. A blood-covered human female entered, flanked by 2 larger males. All 3 bore grievous injuries that should have incapacitated any sentient being. This conflict can end now, Shai offered, mandibles quivering. We can negotiate terms. The human woman laughed, a sound more terrifying than any battle cry. We don't want terms, Admiral. We want your unconditional surrender. We want the hegemony to understand exactly what you awakened when you attack our colonies. She stepped closer, and Khazar instinctively recoiled. In her eyes, he recognized something ancient and terrible, the look of a species that had clawed its way to dominance on the Death World, that had survived ice ages and asteroid impacts, that had nearly destroyed itself countless times only to emerge stronger. You thought yourselves the apex predators of this galaxy, she said quietly. But humanity is what nightmares fear. The Hegemony War lasted 6 standard months. When it ended, the Galactic Council recognized a new power in the stars, one that had proven itself not through technological superiority but through an unmatched capacity for violence, tempered by an equally powerful capacity for mercy. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Mathematics could predict the behavior of civilized beings, but humans had never fully abandoned their predator nature. And in war, that made all the difference.